This edition of MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter to keep you up on all the latest from MacVoices. Watch or listen to MacVoices straight from your email client. Sign up at macvoices.com/newsletter and stay up to date. This is MacVoices, the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I always enjoy when Smile brings out a new version of one of their productivity tools simply because I use them so much. This time, we get to talk to Philip Goward of Smile about the new PDFpen 10. Philip, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's really great to see you, Chuck. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, and I always want to just get this out of the way up front. Smile is a sponsor of MacVoices, and it's very much appreciated, but that's not why you're here. You're here because you all make some really cool software that I really would prefer not to live without. So now we've done the business part. So PDFpen 10, I was really intrigued by what I've read about this release, and true confession, I haven't upgraded yet, because it almost feels like you're sliding over into a desktop publishing kind of feature set. Am I a little off base with that?
I would say you're a little off base. I don't think I would do desktop publishing yet in PDFpen. Maybe one day we'll be there, but we're not there right now. And I think you're really thinking that some of the tools, like the precision edit tool that we added to the product, are really more like publishing tools. And they can be used that way, but I think what they do is give you a greater power over documents that you have from other sources. For example, for me today, I just printed my airline ticket from the web page into PDFpen before I send it to the printer, and they always have a load of adverts over it which I don't want to print. I couldn't get rid of them before. I could cover them up, but I couldn't get rid of them. With the precision edit tool, I can now select them and just remove their content directly from the PDF.
Well, I think that you're probably right, and I probably misspoke or misstated. I didn't mean that you would do desktop publishing from scratch.
I know,
but it looks like some of these tools now I can take something that someone sends me, and if I have the need, I can resize graphics. I could, to your point, I can cut some things out. I can do a lot of things that just feel like it border in that area of doing more than just editing PDFs.
It's true. It's very true. And there's always that area of PDFs which in PDFpen was stuck, and that was really line art, which were stuck on the page and you couldn't change them at all. And I always thought, why can't we select these things just like we can an image or a photograph and be able to manipulate them the same way, at least move them around or copy and paste them, and now you can.
Well, Philip, every time you bring out a new version of PDFpen, I think they can't do anything else that's going to be useful. Now it's just going to be features for feature's sake. And it never is. It's always like, hey, I never even thought about trying to do that in a PDF, and
right.
now I can do it. So it's this incredible Swiss Army knife of just being able to rip PDFs apart, put them back together, combine them, edit them, tweak them any way I want. And I almost to the point of it, again, going back to that, of it being almost a document that I could I created myself. And I love that fact.
Yeah, and also there are some features which we haven't focused on, but we have finally in version 10, haven't focused on before, but finally in version 10 got to focus on now, which are features like adding watermarks. They are something you could do in Acrobat from a very early point, but they weren't as important to our wide customer base. They're important to a certain customer base. We thought, it's time. We should start adding some of these features that really give you greater control over the page. You can add watermarks to a page or pages. You can even make your watermark be a full page, so you could make it be almost like you're printing on letterhead if you want to. So you could use a watermark as a replacement for letterhead. And we've done more stuff with images for move and resize to preserve document integrity in terms of sizing and compression of the images so they remain identical. So we've been really focusing on some of those features which not just make a product was the word am I looking for? It would make a product just better quality than it ever was. I mean, it was always good, but we just want to make it perfect.
Well, I'm afraid in my enthusiasm, we sort of dove right in. But let's go back to the watermark for a second. So what's the difference between, or is there a difference between me doing a watermark with PDFpen versus, say, importing a graphic, expanding it, and then changing the opacity or something of that nature?
You could do that. I mean, a watermark is nice because it can be behind the text, so it has a visual appearance of being behind, whereas an image with opacity can't really live behind text on an existing page.
Okay, that's good. Am I limited in what kind of graphics I can bring in?
Yes, you are limited in what kind of graphics. You can bring, obviously, PDFs. You can bring in images as well of different kinds for watermarks. You can also make text be a watermark. So if you just put some text on top of a page, you can, once it's selected, you can say, turn this into a watermark.
Okay. So now let's go the whole way back to the start of the interview and talk about the precision editing, because that one, you know, again, in my enthusiasm for it, it's like, wow, this is really something. So I can select an image that was included in the PDF, and then what all can I do to it?
You can just really move it, size it, delete it, copy and paste it, of course, to different places. Those are the operations you can do with it. But the difference is you can do it with line art. And you can also, and on line art, of course, your image isn't just the whole image, it can be split into pieces. So for example, if you have a tiny little line underneath some text, which you could never get to before, you can now select it and delete it, for example.
Okay. All right. So another thing that surprised me is now there's suddenly a headers and footers feature.
Yes, we had page numbering in the product before. So you could do page numbering, Bates numbering, that sort of stuff. But now with the headers and footers, you can add text into the header and footer as well as the page number. And you can set the font for all of that. You can choose where the page ranges and where the page numbers start from, that sort of stuff with it.
Okay, and so I create a header or a footer, and then that appears on every page of the PDF.
Yes, that's right. Or a range if you select a range.
Okay. You can understand my confusion here with the desktop publishing thing, because it sounds suspicious.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know, it sounds suspiciously like it. But again, those are things that I would never have thought about trying to do with a PDF, even with PDFpen, and now they're built in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think especially in the legal community, that's used a lot with the page numbering, and now being able to also put in some additional text is really important.
Yeah, the legal community seems to be one of the places that PDFpen would be. I'm not very useful. I'm not going to say the most useful, because then I'm trying to do commentary on everybody's profession, and that's not going to work.
No.
But yeah, the idea that so many of things typically are immutable in PDF, and now they aren't. In fact, even more things are not immutable in PDF.
That's true. We're just pushing the envelope of what is editable within a PDF and what isn't. And it's pretty close to everything is editable at this point.
So tell me about this, because I'm not quite sure I have a grasp on this. The increased size for library items. What exactly does that do? It's
just a very, very simple tool. I mean, it just lets you make the image for a library appear much bigger, so that if you're starting to lose your eyesight and need bigger things to click on the screen, you have it.
So it's not changing the PDF? It just is it's a screen thing.
Yeah, it's just one of the tools we have, which lists all of the graphic or images for all of the different objects you can add to a page, and we just made it so much bigger.
Got it.
And originally, it was focused on very small things, but now the utility of it's changed quite considerably, and people want to be able to see more.
Well, and a funny thing happens is we get these higher res screens. We all decide we want to scale it up, to the highest res possible, so we get the most workspace. But everything then shrinks as a result.
Yes, it does solve that problem.
Yeah. We got these beautiful 5K monitors, but the text ends up being like this. So that is no small feature.
That's true. It was one of I would say it's one of the small features that we added that just really make a difference to the usage of a product. I mean, it's a very small thing, but a lot of people appreciate.
Now, to be clear, everything we've talked about up to this point is available in PDFpen 10. But
Yes, that's correct.
There's also a PDFpen Pro 10.
There is a PDFpen Pro 10 that adds one major new feature, which is OCR in batch. And what it lets you do is you can bring up a little window, which will let you either add files to it through a dialog, or you can drag files into it that are existing PDFs that you've scanned or that came scanned, and then you can perform OCR on them all at once. And it'll do them in the background while you work as well, so that if you have a large job or a folder full of files, you can handle them all together.
Is that a feature that, obviously it's new here, is that something that has been planned for a while and maybe just hasn't made the cut for the feature release set, or is this something that you've just achieved the capability of doing?
It's something which has been requested for a while, and some customers have been achieving similar behavior through AppleScript. We just felt that enough of the customers were asking to do that it was important in the product and would really be a benefit for people.
Yeah, I can certainly understand it. I can think of a few times that I've received a batch of files, and you want to do the OCR so you can then search those files for what you're looking for. And I can see how you would do it with AppleScript. I don't think I've ever really tried that because I haven't had the situation that often. But that's a very nice feature, just to be able to say, okay, I've got a batch of PDFs. I'm going to set it up, walk away. I come back, and now I've got a batch of PDFs that have been OCR'd. I can search, edit, manipulate, do whatever I want with.
Exactly. It just makes the process a lot smoother. I mean, especially if somebody sends you a load of PDFs which are all one page and you have to do it to them. And that happens because some scanning software just records one page at a time.
Oh, yeah. We have a scanner like that at the office, and it's annoying, let's say. Philip, how do you all have to have a long list of feature requests from users. And I always think it's interesting to get into a developer's mind and say, okay, how do you go about deciding? I mean, there has to be a terrible temptation to say, okay, we're going to pick the low-hanging fruit and add these 5-10 new features for the next release that are really easy instead of tackling this tough stuff.
Well, that's true. I mean, part of it is going through some level of gestalt to what customer requests come in and say, oh, 500 people have requested that, we better do that. And that will be a wonderful, obvious thing, but of course it's never that obvious. So some of it is just a sense of gut feel as to what would be good to add to the product based on the requests that come in. And sometimes people ask for a feature, but it may not be exactly what they want. But we can provide the same utility in a feature that will be much more useful to many people. And so we have to look at it in those ways too. Some things are just things we've had ideas of for years, and we think, it's time for that.
And I assume that there continues to be a long list of feature requests or things that you want to do with PDFpen.
Absolutely. And it's always hard to make good choices and make a cut. There's so many things you can potentially do with PDF and with the editing. It's hard to make those choices, but they're good choices to make. Obviously, PDFpen's a very mature product now, and so I think it makes the choices that we make for features to add to the product just especially judicious, because we don't want to make a product more complicated by loading it up with features.
Yeah, and of course that's something that we've railed against so often, features for feature's sake. as opposed to features that are really useful. And of course, no feature is going to be useful to every member of your audience.
Absolutely.
So trying to figure those out and which one. But I'm quickly subscribing to the idea that if you have one or two killer features in a piece of software that differentiate it from any other piece of software for you, you've won. And that's what I feel like with PDFpen. There's certain features that for me are those killer features, and I could achieve it some other ways, yeah, maybe, but never quite as easily or as completely as with PDFpen. And Text Expander too, but really right now we're talking about PDFpen.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, probably PDFpen a lot reflects the tasks that Smile as a team works with PDFs, but I'm not sure. I mean, I think we do take a ton of input from our customers, and so they reflect. Well, product really reflects the combination of needs from many sources in many industries.
That's something we've heard from a lot of developers, that software either started out or has evolved because they're scratching their own itch, that they have a need and say, okay, I'll write it, and then they decide to release it, and then they enhance it. And of course, you're right, they balance customer requests and feedback with their own. But at the end of the day, if you're using your own software thoroughly, then that's perfect, because you have the opportunity to see maybe where it's not as polished as it could be, or a feature that, gee, you really wish it had, and you can put it in. I can't.
That's right. That's exactly right. And always with PDFpen, our focus has been on really business users, people trying to achieve very specific aims with their PDFs, which are just harder in other products. And when you have a document language as rich as PDF, a temptation is for you can do so many things, and every possible feature is kind of flat, not one feature showing above the others, and it makes it hard to know what you can really do or how to achieve what you want to achieve. We've managed to achieve with PDFpen a product which is approachable to achieve basic tasks, and which you can easily grow to achieve the more complicated ones.
The word approachable intrigues me, because I feel that way about, and I'm throwing a lot of compliments your way, but I really do mean them. I feel like PDFpen, I seldom have to go to the help menu. In fact, probably the main reason I've ever gone to the help menu is, okay, I know what I want to do now. What would they call that feature? And
right.
so you start noodling around and figure out, okay, what is it in PDFpen speak? Oh, that's what they call it, and now I know. So but it does. It's not it's not one of those pieces of software that has gained 25 toolbars or a cluttered header or anything like that. It still feels very clean and, to use your word, approachable.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it does, because it would be so easy to have made an interface which didn't come out that way. And I think in these days of software, and I think this is a very positive thing, it seems like people don't have to go to the help menu very often and tend not to. So it's absolutely essential to design a product which needs help very, very little.
Yeah. Again, you do have to do a little bit of homework to learn all the things that it can do.
Exactly.
That's almost the second biggest challenge is, okay, I want to do this. Oh yeah, I know PDFpen added that to this version, last version, 2 versions ago. Let's go try it. And if it's there, it works. And that's another thing too. I hesitate to call them bugs, but I don't find features that don't perform as expected or as represented. And that's another thing I really appreciate, because sometimes you see software that says it'll sort of do this, and then it sort of does that, but not exactly the way that you want it.
Yes, in a wonky way. We've all seen that. But, thinking of the help side and needing help, obviously it's you can do a lot of complicated things with PDFpen as well as the simple stuff. So the help is essential to be able to search, and we kind of pride ourselves in producing good quality help with our products, and PDFpen, of course, being no exception. And also, if you want to go beyond the help, there's a wonderful book from the Take Control folks about how to use PDFpen. Michael Cohen is the author, and there's a new update of that for PDFpen and PDFpen Pro 10. And so I recommend that book for those who really are interested in learning to a greater depth what is the product's capable of.
Yeah, we've talked to Michael about that book, and you're right. I'm a huge fan, as everyone knows, of the Take Control authors and the Take Control format, because they don't build in fluff. They really help you get the most out of a program, and there's no way that you can continue to add these features without adding a certain degree of complexity. And that's where a book like Michael's comes in, that, okay, I need somebody to teach me just a little more than the basics.
Yeah, and I think to be able to break it down into tasks you can perform, and then what tools you use to perform them, is more helpful to many people.
Agreed. Philip, Smile just keeps rolling out all these improvements to both Text Expander and PDFpen, and I really, again, that's something I appreciate about it. The company has been around now for I don't know how many years. As long as
we are approaching our 15th birthday.
Really? Wow. So 15 years, and you've established yourself in the community as a huge part of the community in so many ways that I won't try to even pretend to list them here. But I want to focus just on the idea that you continue to roll out that quality software, and you continue to roll out the updates on a pretty regular basis. And,
Absolutely.
And it doesn't feel like it ever goes stale. I wouldn't want you to rush out features any much faster, because we all have to learn how to use what you give us. No matter how anxious I am for a feature, I wish more developers would pay a little bit of attention to that, and not just wait for the, okay, we're going to release this update in 2 years and it's going to have 55 new features, and nobody can remember more than 3. And so, that's something that I think you do so well, is you just roll them out as they're ready, and you give us a few at a time. That's why these interviews are never terribly long, because we have a few features to talk about, but not a lot.
Right. Yes. We try and choose a few really good choice things for each of our products.
So what is the pricing and upgrade policy for PDFpen at this point?
Okay, let's start with the upgrade policy. For previous users of PDFpen, it is $30 unless you purchase the earlier version this year, in which case it's a free upgrade. And the same goes for PDFpen Pro to PDFpen Pro. If you want to upgrade from PDFpen to PDFpen Pro, it's $50. And PDFpen Pro is $124.95. And PDFpen is $74.95.
Okay, and in today's world, those prices to some might seem a little bit much, but I dislike the word mature product. I think it's a fully featured product that is maintained very well and keeps adding value.
Right.
But this is pro level software. I mean, you're not just using preview to scratch a couple notes on a PDF. You're able to do an amazing number of things.
That's absolutely right. I mean, pro-level software has a pro-level team behind it, pro-level customer service, and has pro-level pricing to support it.
Yeah, and we keep doing that whole rush to the bottom thing, and I resist it so much of the time, because I think that you do have to look at the whole package. And you just mentioned the documentation, the support, the idea that there are multiple resources out there to help you learn this program. Is all you can't just look at what the daily deal is and, I can buy this for $4.95. You got to look at what you're trying to accomplish, and if you're not serious about PDFs, then maybe this isn't for you. But
absolutely,
I think there's so many features that you'd be hard pressed to say that you can't make use of PDFpen.
Correct. Yeah, it's a product that has utility in most days of my life.
Yep, that's pretty well said. If I'm at my desk, it seems like PDFpen is launched at least once a day for something.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So the website, of course, is smilesoftware.com. Are these both available in the Mac App Store?
Yes, both are available in the Mac App Store as well.
Okay, but they're also available as direct downloads. Is
right.
that okay? So
yeah.
Depends on which way you want to go.
Exactly, which way you want to go. smilesoftware.com/PDFpen or /PDFpen Pro, or just, of course, go to the homepage and navigate. And also the links to the App Store, if you prefer to buy the App Store, on those pages as well.
Phil, I should have asked this, but I want to make sure that we do. No difference between the App Store version and the direct download version?
The products are basically the same. The only difference is if you are upgrading from a prior version, we can't upgrade from out of the App Store to the App Store, or even from within the App Store to the next version within the App Store, simply because Apple don't really allow any mechanism for that sort of upgrading. So, but you could upgrade from the App Store to the download version. You can do that.
Okay, so if I've bought the App Store version, in order to get the new PDFpen 10, I either have to
upgrade pricing. Yes.
I can either buy a whole new version at full price, or I can contact Smile and do the upgrade outside the store. But then, and now I've moved outside the store.
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Just want to be sure, because I know somebody will ask.
It's a little awkward, but that's about the best we can really do in that scenario.
Well, it's, Apple, that's not something that Apple has offered to developers yet, is that option to upgrade. And so the fact that just because I bought it in the App Store doesn't mean I'm stuck in the App Store, I think is pretty important, because I can think of at least one developer who really doesn't give you that option. You either, you do one, you do the other, and moving between them requires that you buy a whole new package. And I kind of understand why, but that doesn't make it any easier on my wallet.
No, absolutely.
Phil, what have I missed? Anything?
I think that's it. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, good. Well, you're always welcome back here. I always look forward to our talks, no matter what we're talking about, but especially when we're talking about new versions of the Smile software.
Yes, absolutely. It sounds great.
So get back here soon.
I'll do my best. Thank you, Chuck.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Go check out PDFpen 10 with all the features that we talked about. Some really amazing ones. And, of course, don't overlook that long list of features that are pre-existing, because those are still some of my favorites. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.